This is today's Dresden, Germany, located on the Elbe River and the capital city of Saxony. Between 1985 and 1990, Vladimir Putin was stationed as a KGB officer in Dresden, then the third largest city of the German Democratic Republic. After 10 years of KGB service within Russia, this position was his first overseas assignment. Dresden has been portrayed as a backwater Soviet Union post by scrutinizing media outlets. Conversely, other sources have elevated the assignment to important strategic prominence. Elite Soviet officers then, as now, were typically stationed in larger and more renowned locations such as Berlin, London, New York, and Paris. During his tenure, Putin was officially titled as a consular officer. Over the course of his 5-year stint, his professional stature rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel. The promotion seemed an impressive advancement in spite of the debatable importance of the assignment. Putin, his wife, and one daughter who was born there, lived in a modest apartment complex a short walk from his workplace, the KGB offices. These offices formed the site of one of his initial claims in a 2000 biography called First Person. The book was written to introduce the Russian public to their new and then unknown president. The KGB offices were directly across the road from one of Dresden's most despised landmarks, the Stasi prison. The prison was used as a holding jail for dissidents who opposed the East German regime and for minor criminals. They were quarters that Putin doubtlessly knew intimately. Following the conclusion of World War II and the creation of the Communist East German Democratic Republic, or GDR, the facility was used by the Russian KGB officers. If ever a hell on earth existed, the Russian-operated facility qualified. East German prisoners were either transferred to Russia to be exterminated, or they languished in forced labor camps out of the eyes and assistance of their comrades or family. Torture, sleep deprivation, and human indignity were common practices. In 1953, a newer prison building was constructed above ground, the dungeon. The conditions had improved considerably by the time Putin had arrived in 1985. But the intention to demoralize, degrade, and break down the individual remained the same. In his biography, Putin claims to have single-handedly frightened off a mob in December 1989 by waving a pistol and addressing them in German. The mob had intentions to ransack the KGB offices after already having stormed the hated Stasi prison. This event reportedly occurred nearly a month after the Berlin Wall was permanently breached. Putin and his family would leave Dresden shortly afterwards and return to Moscow. His claim was later amplified by a Russian television documentary and became an important cornerstone in his carefully constructed mythology. Did the event actually occur? Does it particularly matter anymore? Truth in Russia has been blurred during the reign of Putin to the point that nothing may be accepted on face value. What is certain in the mind of Vladimir Putin and his subsequent actions is that he will never permit his Russian rule to fall into the identical abyss and chaos as the East German government did during their collapse. His hardline policies were formulated by his years and observations while stationed in Dresden. The city of Dresden, Germany, is now restored, beautiful, and pristine, following the German reunification and the departure of the Soviet Union occupying force. This positive improvement would have never been possible under Russian control and rule. There is marginal nostalgia for the communist era today, but it still exists. In Putin's stated philosophy, he would love to turn back the clock to when the Soviet Union was a formidable global force. It still remains a dangerous influence. As for Putin, he has cultivated so many enemies that his fate will likely be defined by his ultimate ambitions and success or failures.